This video is sponsored by Stefan's Boating World. If you're in the market for a boat in Australia, then make sure you check out their huge range of hulls and Yamaha outboards. Hey guys, what is going on? Matt Kelly here, and I want to take you through a few of the latest mods on the Razor Cat. Again, this is a crazy boat. I'm actually really happy with it. I've decided that it needs some modification work done. So to start with, we're going to replace the seat, which you guys have seen in the last couple of videos, with one that's a little bit more DIY, a little bit more homemade, a little bit more custom. So this is the old one. You've seen this before, and by old, I've really only used it a few times, but that one's going in the bin. Here's what we did to make the new one. So obviously with the old seat, the cushion was locked onto a plywood plate, right? So we basically built a plywood seat to go down first, had the little riveted on seat notches, so the seat literally clamped onto the sides of that. It worked really, really well. The plywood was good, the cushion was bad. So I went online, found a supplier that does a lot of marine fabric work, do a lot of canopies and so on, and I said to them, I need foam to make a new seat, and I need the like vinyl, like the covering as well. And what that's resulted in is this epic thing here. So this is the original seat, you've seen that before. This on top, this is twice to 3 times as much cushion, about a third longer, a bit more robust, a bit heavier, but I'm so pumped about this. So what we did was, we took the seat, we cut out a smaller rectangular shape out of plywood, we mounted foam onto that was the right size, we ripped this vinyl right on top of it really tight, staple gunned in, and then went around the inside, and what we've done is, we've actually, let me just focus on here, you can see here, this is the wooden plate underneath. That there is the plywood base. So this is all plywood under here. Heavy dose of silicone between the fabric and the plywood. And then this alloy, just piece of flat, is literally screwed in to lock it all down. So this is actually all solid silicone. Because what I didn't want was water getting inside. It's all marine grade, but I didn't want water getting into the seat because salt water in foam is gonna get moldy and gross. It's inevitable. So that's what we've done. The base itself is painted in a marine grade paint, the same stuff that we've used on the boat in the past and also on the seat. So it locks down on the seat. Let's go check out what that looks like right now. So that's what we used to have, this seat on here. That's what we have now. I think the color works, I think the size works. It's a lot bigger than the old one was. It's got a lot more padding on it. It's a lot more comfortable to sit on. I am super happy with that. You can compare it. If I sit that there, so to get a comparison of just the thickness, the amount of foam, and the fabric itself is quite dramatically different. That gives you an idea of the size difference. It's quite dramatic. And I've actually got it so it extends just over the back here. Before you could fit 2 people on it, but it wasn't comfortable. Now you definitely can fit 2 people on that. So I'm super happy with that. That's one mod done. The next mod is much less of a mod and more of a necessity, you'd say. These capacity labels are a legal requirement here in Queensland, Australia. So I've ordered a couple of those, just picked them up online. I'm pretty sure it's just a random private company who's just reprinting them. But got that installed. So again, it's another very simple mod, but makes the boat legal, which is good. So that's another thumbs up. What's interesting here also is that this says 5 people. Now this is based on the legal rating of this boat, which I was told directly by the dealer, who was like the importer and manufacturer of these boats. They said it's legal for 5. I would not put more than, I mean, realistically, I can see how you would fit 5, right? You could have a couple down the sides, a couple in the middle. It's not too hard, but when I look at it, I think to myself, let's definitely just stick to probably 2 to 3 max. Any more than that, and it's pretty crowded. All right, the next thing I'm going to install, handles. Now, when I take out people like Nick, otherwise known as Sailing Yak on YouTube, he likes to get onto the pontoons and he likes to jump from side to side based on direction we're turning, wants me to push it as hard as I can, as fast as I can, rip around corners. But what we learned is these handles on the pontoons, while they are somewhat useful for just having a general thing to hold on to, they move around a lot. So our logic was, let's hard mount a couple of real solid plastic handles on the side here, What that will mean is, when you're on the seat, especially if you're sitting behind, you can hold on underneath you as well as holding on in front, like a lot of people will do on a motorbike when they're sitting on the back. But also, it'll give you something to, if we want to take additional fuel tank or something and tie it onto something, that can sit right there, easy. So I like it for a place to just ratchet other items onto, but also an additional handle, so that if you're sitting out here on the pontoon, leaning out, grabbing onto that is going to be real useful. Now you might be wondering why I've got a bag over the engine. Well, the truth is, there's no cowling on there. So that's just doing a bit of weather protection right now while I'm doing work on the boat. Looks like it might rain, so I just wanted to keep that there. Be prepared for something very, very cool coming in my next video. So a question a lot of you guys have been asking is, why the hell would you buy that boat when you built your whole channel off fishing, right? And it's a really good question, because when I walk down here and I look at all of these rods and all this gear, it's like, I actually really enjoy the process of fishing, and I go fishing quite a lot. So a big question for me was, how do I build this boat for being a bit of a fishing machine? Because the truth is, the few times I've been out, oh, let's get back in the shade there. A few times I've been out, it's been very good. It's very stable, locks the water. Like, I've talked about stability of some of the boats I've been in the past, or that I've owned in the past. This thing here, because you sit on those two pontoons, and they're obviously being inflatable, they sit above the water, it's a very stable platform. People fish off jet skis, and I go, this has got to be a better platform to fish off than a jet ski. And then the question is, how do you make the most of that? So what I've done is built what is the beginnings of a storage bait board rod holder, rod rack on the back of the boat. Let's go check it out. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of showing things that are sort of half baked or half done, but I want to show you guys this because it's been a pretty big project in its own right. So the idea is that this here, with two very strong straps from here to here on both sides of the boat, right? It's shaped with this insert here that it fits two tackle trays, which will have a strap very similar to the one that I use for the seat that goes over the front of that. It's got these two wings. Now, a lot of people said to me, why would you have these wings out here? The reality is, when I mount that rod holder there and one on the other side, I want my reels to be protected because I do get back spray from that engine. So the idea is that goes there with the smaller rods where the reels sit here on the rod holder. They will be pretty well protected by that. As I walk around, you'll see that back plate gives it quite a lot of protection as you come around. Same deal on this side. Rod holder that mounts here, tackle trays that sit on the inside, and then on top, obviously, we've got the cutting board. Now, the idea of the cutting board is that this also straps down from here to here, and it's removable, which makes it easy for cleaning. So the idea is that gets removed, easily cleaned, mounts back on top, falls down, and then straps down. So at this point in time, it's been made of obviously wood and stainless steel screws. A lot of epoxy has been used to waterproof because it is going to be a high spray area, but I wanted to build something that made this easy. So the idea is two rods can sit in it, strong straps that pull it down to the boat, 2 tackle trays in there, I could theoretically go fishing with no other equipment. If I really wanted to, I could build some kind of storage solution on the front here for, say, knives, or even on the back for things that I'm not too worried about with the weather. At this point, it needs to be sanded. It needs some bog to fill in some of these edges. I do want water to be able to run straight through it, so it actually doesn't have a solid bottom. The idea is water just falls straight through. These will be sitting on some marine carpet or rubber, just pieces underneath, so it'll grip to the boat without doing any damage. And the idea is, at the end of the day, all you've got to do is release 2 straps, one either side, and the whole thing just lifts off. So that's what I've built. It's not perfect yet, but I'm a pretty big fan of it. It's going well. It's been a more complex build than I had intended, but I want it to be very strong. So, you know, it's hard to show in video, but like this thing, there's not, like, as much as it's plywood, it's very, very strong. It's the way it's been epoxied in, the way it's been bolted in. It's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked with how it's come together. So that's what we got right now, coming together very nicely. More on that one later. You won't see that in the next couple of videos because obviously I want to finish that, but it's coming there. It's getting there. And that's another day of mods done and dusted. Definitely have not finished the rod rack at the back, but I'm super stoked with the way the handle's sitting, and that seat is so much more comfortable. And in that boat, you really do want a comfortable seat. So I'm pumped. As mentioned, there is a big surprise coming with the cowling, the engine. Yeah, get pumped. The next video is coming out real soon and you guys are gonna love it. Thanks again to Stefan's Boating World for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys really soon. Cheers.